One of the things that defines him is as soon as we get on the plane, he pulls out of his briefcase the big file of clippings, and I can see him reading it through. And every now and then he'll pass one over to me and say, you might be interested in reading this one.
This is a man of vast experience, a man who thinks about issues deeply and coherently.
He rose by talent and by, I think, strength of conviction in the sorts of things that he believed in journalism.
I'm a generalist rather than a specialist, and that's made life quite interesting because I've been able to report on all sorts of things from Chinese diplomacy to sports.
China was probably the most important and formative experience, I think, in our lives.
Norman had 3 sons. I mean, he was looked up to by a lot of the Chinese. Man's got 3 sons. I mean, he's obviously a very fortunate person.
There were only 3 Western correspondents there when I was there for the whole of China. The Chinese really didn't want you there. They didn't like you and did their best to make your job difficult.
I think what he did as a journalist there was focus on other parts of life. There was so little information that was coming out of China then that the way in which we lived as a family was of great interest to newspapers around the world. His photos were the cover of Time, and he's not a great photographer, but he was there and he could do it.
We worked together at the Globe from I guess 1965 on when Norman was posted to the Ottawa Bureau. He has a way of cutting right to the heart of matters and analyzing things, and there's not a whole lot of wasted words in a Norman Webster editorial or column.
As a journalist, you see people close up, and when you see people close up, you're less awed than you are if you're seeing from a distance.
You're not interviewing Pierre Trudeau or Bill Clinton or Nelson Mandela because you pretend to be their greatest buddy. You're there because each of you has a job to do. And so you approach it in a courteous but professional manner.
Assembling talent is one of the most important requisites of a manager, and he did that extremely well.
Working with Norman made me better at everything I did as a journalist. He made me a better editor. He made me a better writer. He made me a better interviewer. He made me a better thinker.
He also had a great sense of public service, and both as a journalist and in recent years through the International Press Institute and the other things that he does, and the Webster, the R. Howard Webster Foundation in Montreal, of which he is president. It's a family foundation, but it's a major philanthropic charitable foundation in Canada, and it gives us significant amounts of money to both healthcare and education.
I think everybody likes being recognized by their peers, and this is an extraordinarily fine recognition of the role that he's played as a journalist in Canada and internationally.